welcome back. Okay, this is our weigh-in segment, and joining me right now is Angie White, professional organizer, and your website is iorganizeyou.com, and the name of your business is Organized Solutions. Is that right?
Yes.
I got all those things right?
Got them all right.
Professional organizer. And Paula Brown, professional gorgeous home store. Paula Brown Shop has some of the most adorable, gorgeous houseware type items. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
What we're going to talk about is sort of spring cleaning. Earlier we were talking about how you work out and try to get your workout in while you clean. Right. But it is the time of year that a lot of people organize their houses. Paula, you've got all these gorgeous gadgets, gorgeous items. Are you an organized, perfect, everything in its place kind of a housekeeper, domestic goddess?
No. And I found that if I pare down and I just have some essential pieces in my kitchen, it makes things so much easier. And fortunately, I have the ability to find those and use those pieces because we have them in our kitchen department at the store. So I'm more organized than I was 5 years ago because I've just gotten rid of a lot of stuff.
Is that the key to organizing?
That is the key. Less things you have, the more space you have, the more time you have to do things, the easier it is to find things. So I always tell people less is more. It gives you more to do everything.
But not in the shoe department.
That's right. If people say, do you collect anything? I say, yeah, shoes.
Yeah.
What? Isn't that what you meant? A shoe collector. So getting rid of stuff is key.
Yes, and that's the hardest thing for people. And I always tell people it's the first thing you put in the box or the bag that you let go of is the hardest.
Right.
Once you get that kind of ball going, then you kind of realize and you start to feel how much better it is without those things around. And then space opens up. You can find things easily, especially when you're in the kitchen. And
so that is the first thing you do is to get those bins. I've seen Peter Walsh before talking about that. It's the stuff you want to donate, the stuff you want to, how do you organize? When you walk into someone's cluttered home to do that first step,
what do we do?
What do you do?
Well, you kind of you see where it's at, and then listen to what the person wants the place, how they want it to function, what they want it to look like. And then you kind of set up those keep, donate, trash kind of piles. And as you kind of going through your keep things, you're moving those things to free up the space, and then you take those keep items and reorganize them back into how you want that space to work. And especially in the kitchen, if you're struggling with, well, your dishwasher is in one spot and your glasses are in another spot, you want those to all be in the same spot, so it's easy for you to put the dishes from the dishwasher into the cabinets and back and forth.
Are you a kind of person that has a lot of stuff out all the time to see, or is it all put away in cupboards, in closets, for me, if I have a closet or a cabinet, I fill it with stuff, close it, and never open it. The more closet space I have, the less space I have because I have a place to hide stuff and close it away.
About 7 years ago, we got a big girl house for Paula, and it was a condo. And so things changed, and the kids were out of the house, and I think it's a lifestyle thing. I think if you have kids in your house, you tend to have the toaster out, you tend to have things out. Now, we live minimally. Things are more put away. Like I said, I have less. I don't need the cupcake pan out. I'm not making banana bread. I'm not doing the things that I did 15 years ago. However, I like looking at certain things. Like I'll talk about the knife.
The things that you brought with us in a little bit.
Some of the things. Yeah. And we have a beautiful toaster, and I love looking at this toaster. It is, it's nice. It's just, I think aesthetically, it's what you like. It's functionally what you do, what you need, and it's how your kitchen is set up.
And you evolved into this, though.
Yes. But I think, it could be anybody. If you have a small kitchen and you need all that counter space for food preparation, whatever, you might have to bring your toaster out every morning.
If you're always packing 5 lunches, you need the space and bring stuff in and out.
But there are so many things on the market today that I think that make life simpler, and even like dividers. And we have a door thing that's really, really cool that actually is like a silicone mat, and then it's got these rectangle and square like dividers, and you can place them anywhere on the mat, and it can go any drawer. You can use it for your bathroom, your kitchen, your desk, and it's not It's something that you plan. It's not something that you pre-buy that's got that department in it.
It's the way you'd actually use your
Yes.
drawer and your
Yes.
stuff. So you actually helped with that show, Hoarders. You organized someone
Yes,
for that. I
we
mean,
did.
that is the most, I would say there are some days that if you would look at certain areas of my house, you would think, wow, I think she needs to get on that Hoarders show. And then it'll stop. Like, it's true. And then all of a sudden I get overwhelmed with it, and then it all goes at the same time. I mean, I keep myself in business. I am equally OCD and anal retentive. It's awful. I mean, my walk-in closet upstairs, it'll look like a tornado hit it for a month, and then all of a sudden I'll be horrified, and I clean it all up, and then it takes me another month to get like that again. And I don't know if most people are like that or.
Well, it's kind of in the middle. A lot of times people are just overwhelmed with the area, and I tell people if you haven't, like every 3 to 5 years, you need to evaluate an area and see if it's working for you. If you walk by something, you're like, I don't like that, then you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about picking it up. Sometimes it's about letting go of things. Either whatever feels good to you, that's what you need to do.
Well, like you came to my house and we did a segment, and it was my front closet, and I had 5 vacuum cleaners. Is that what it was? 5 vacuum cleaners, and she wanted me to get rid of them, and I became like those hoarder shows. I'm like, no, I might need this one for this. I might need. I was attached to them. I hadn't used half of them for years, or I missed this one needed a new belt, but I couldn't get rid of. I had a hard time, and she sort of helped me.
But those things take up valuable space.
Right.
And it's as long as that space feels good and you can have 5 vacuum cleaners in there, that's fine. But it's when you've got 5 vacuum cleaners in there and 10 coats and you go to pull something out and the football hits you on the head. That's a problem. So when you do that, then you have to say, okay, you have to evaluate, like, what's the purpose and how does this function in my life? Just because something was happy and felt good 5-10 years ago doesn't mean it feels good now. So you have to make sure you're constantly evaluating your items and letting go of those things that aren't making you feel good.
Well, so then how do you, this is a classic thing I do, is I will get a bug about I've got to get it all organized, I got to get it all clean, and I do it, and then, like I said, 4, 5, 6 weeks later, wait a minute, it looks like it. How do you keep up with it? That's my biggest thing. Like, okay, during sports seasons, we're like, just put it away here when it's over, we'll get to that, and so then here it comes now this time of year, and there's just piles of stuff.
Right. Well, and that goes back to what you learned in kindergarten.
I didn't learn a lot. I missed that day.
You didn't go to Montessori.
In kindergarten, when you were done with something, you put it away.
Right.
So, yes, when things get going and family life takes over and you want to just kind of toss it in the corner, but next thing you know, you have this little ski slope in the corner of things. But if you put things away right the first time, it takes a little bit of extra effort, but you don't end up with that.
You stay up to speed.
And you stay up to speed.
Okay, we're going to talk about some things that why removing clutter, we touched on, it helps you on your diet or helps you with your healthy lifestyle. First of all, a cluttered house means you're not in control. Do you feel more in control of your life when things are where you can find them? That would be the question. For the most part.
Some people say I'm not in control a lot of times.
Your husband.
You ought to ask my people at the shop. But no. It causes a problem when I can't find things, or if I'm not organized, I usually try to leave my desk organized so the next morning when I come in, I start out.
There's what I need.
Yes, and not frazzled, because I get really frazzled and I need my time, and I need some time to just kind of get going, start the day.
Well, that's the same side of thing. A clutter house can, if you're not in control of your house, it's hard to be in control of your snacking. It's hard to be when I'm not, when things are
like
cluttered,
you should always do that.
Be organized.
I don't do that.
Whereas also when you can't find things, which leads to the next thing, a lot of people stress eat. Not finding your stuff that you actually need, like your social security card, your passport, and your keys.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Freak you out.
Right.
So you were saying clutter causes stress.
Clutter does cause stress. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I am in a panic for 3-4 minutes if I can't find that. I drove here. Where are my keys? And I have thrown them on the thing.
Right. But it also when it causes that stress, it also causes a waste of energy, waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have enough time, then you like,
Stress
okay, well,
more.
I'm just going to grab this and eat this because it's right here. And
Right, I agree with that. And like if I'm stressed out, I do gravitate towards bad snacks too, to calm myself down or to, okay, nothing's going
know
right.
what you're putting in your mouth.
Right.
Let
Yeah.
me eat this.
you
Yeah.
tend to overeat when
Right.
you're stressed. And that's another bad problem.
So then the other clutter costs you money. Now, here's how it costs me money. I was cleaning out, the saran wrap cabinet and the bags and the things in there, and I realized we have purchased the same white kitchen garbage bags every week for like a year, and I've got like 15 of these in there, and in the back, and we just kept. I thought, this is like $3 a week that I'm spending on bags that I don't need. I mean, that's just one example.
I see that all the time, especially in pantries and kitchens in general. Food. You have to set your house up like a grocery store. I mean, there's a reason why the grocery store is set up the way it is, because they want you to buy stuff.
Right.
But if you set your house up like a grocery store, then you're able to find things very quickly,
You'll be able to see
easily.
what you've got.
Yep.
All your salad dressings
and
on one side, all your
canned goods in one spot, snacks in one spot.
Well, it's
garbage
better
bags.
for cooking too. I mean, I would say I cleaned out my spice area the other day and realized, okay, I have purchased the same chili powder 3 times, and I've got 3 half-used ones. And then it also makes you realize, oh, I bought this for one thing and I still have it. Why haven't I cooked with it again?
But it's a great way to save money too. When you go to the store, when you're like, okay, I need to go to the store. What do I need? You open up your cabinet and you can see what you have, and like, oh yeah, I do have 3 things of macaroni and cheese. I don't need 4 more.
Right. Unless it's my son's, in which case we might need 4
That's a
more.
different one.
Okay, so then the other question or the other thing is that organizing your house does give you a sense of that satisfaction. It is a non-food reward. I often tell, I'm a binge eater, I'll tell you 100%, that's a problem for me. At a certain period of time, I'll want to eat. And one way to stop binge eating is to organize something. It's satisfying to see, oh, look, all of my socks are now matched up in this drawer. And it is a satisfying moment. It gives you that, it's almost luxurious to know, I've given myself this reward instead of this other reward.
When I've worked with a client and we're finishing up and they're like, well, I'm nervous. What am I going to, how do I keep it this way? One thing I tell them to do is if you're kind of like not knowing what to do, start picking things up.
That's the 5th thing. Time spent organizing is time spent not bored and looking in the fridge thinking, oh, what am I going to eat? I mean, you're actually doing something productive. And that is another health problem. Like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, oh, I don't know what to do. There's nothing on TV, and I got to wait till the kids come home. And that's when you do some eating for just pass the time kind of eating. Just a couple of boxes of cookies. So doing some organizing is a way to, productively pass time.
Exactly. But when you're picking up things, it's not just randomly picking things up. It's like, well, I see this is out of place. I see this is out of place, and start moving
small,
things.
too.
You start moving things around, and then sooner you'll start to feel like, oh, this is feeling better.
Yeah, because people think that eating makes you feel better when it really you shouldn't do it. But it
Eating does.
no, I know that. But like
momentarily makes you feel better.
Right,
Yeah.
no, right.
Well, so then, all right, we are going to go in our next segment here. We're going to take a look at some of the talk about organizing and gadgets and the things you really need in your kitchen. Paula is the expert on this. We're going to go in the kitchen with some gadgets. I love that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I